Hey guys, it's Beth, and today I am back with my Crafty Goals update as of March, and this is part of the 2019 Crafty Goals collab with Amalia, and she's Cool Cakes with Amalia here on YouTube, and she got a group of us Crafty YouTubers together at the beginning of the year to set some goals and then share our goals, our progress towards those goals throughout the year. So I will have a link to all of the other YouTubers participating in this collaboration down below, so please be sure to check out their videos and their progress towards their goals. Leave them some love and support. Okay, so we are at the end of the first quarter of 2019, so I feel like I did a little bit better in March than I did in February as far as my crafty goals go. My first goal is to use up one whole paper pad per month. I started one in kind of towards the mid to late February, and I did finish it in March, and I will link the video below where I show all the projects that I got out of that pad. My second goal is to complete 5 personal scrapbook pages. I set this goal because I get so busy crafting, you know, for customers, for craft shows, for our Etsy shop, or for Cards for Soldiers, that I've kind of gotten way behind on my own crafting. So I want to try and do at least 5 personal scrapbook pages each month. And just to show you how far behind, this is my youngest daughter's birth announcement from December of 2012. And here's a wagon ride from my oldest back in 2012. Like this one's April of 2012. And then I have my daughter's her 1 year pictures from 2012. And the bad thing, well, one thing I've learned on doing these pages each month is my style for my personal scrapbooking right now is kind of clean and simple, and I think that's just because I'm so far behind and I'm trying to get caught up that as much as I love to do like fancier, more elaborate page spreads, I don't have the time. So while I still want to focus on quality, I also need to focus on quantity. So right now my style kind of is clean, simple, quick. So, and the bad thing was on all of these pages I didn't have any real good embellishments that went with the theme. So I was kind of trying to improvise with some paper flowers from my stash, or punch shapes and flowers. So the good thing is, excuse me, this paper, the flowers and the squares were 2 pieces of American crafts paper that I think I've had in my stash forever, really, really long time. So did get to finally use that up. And then something else I did, because on a couple of the pages I had just a few of scraps left from the paper that I had worked with. And so I decided to go ahead and take those scraps and make some quick cards. So from this page, this pink and white damask paper, I had some strips of it left, and then the brown and pink swirly, I had just a little piece of that left. So I pulled out these pink die-cut scallop circles that I had in my stash, and then since I had my baby stamps out just to stamp this bundle of joy here, I cut a piece of white cardstock into a stitched circle that fit inside my pink scallop circle and then stamped on it. And then, like I said, this one has the paper strips in the background. This one just has, you know, that one piece that was left, and then just added some cardstock punched circles to kind of fill it out. And then whatever scraps I had left just went in on the inside of the card. So, I mean, that only took me a few minutes, and it saved my scraps from being lost in my drawers or box of scraps forever. And then on this one, I also had some scraps left. And so I just kind of used the 2 different patterns, and I had 1 piece of the tan cardstock left, so I just layered those up, and did have to pull out a piece of green cardstock from my stash just to kind of give the card a little bit of something, and then put whatever was left again on the inside of the card. So I think I'm going to try and start doing this more often because, again, it just saves me from having to file the scraps or from just having all those scraps in my drawer. So I got the 5 pages that I needed plus some cards to boot. My next goal is to use up a card kit. I did not finish one in March. I have one in the works, but I'm kind of working on it here and there just as I have some time. And then to use up at least one whole pack of embellishments. My daughter and her friend did a project in February that I told you guys about in my goal update from last month. They sat down and went through my girls' sticker drawer and would pull out a sheet of stickers and then use those stickers as a theme to make a note of encouragement for one of their friends. I thought that sounded like so much fun. I enjoyed listening to them do that project, and I decided that I wanted to do it as well, but kind of on a smaller scale than what they were doing. So I went through my stash of miscellaneous type embellishments and stickers, and I came across 2 of them that I actually thought would work really well together. So I have this, it was a set of patterned sticker squares. There's like 2 different patterns really, but they were stickers from Creative Memories from 2003. And then I also had this Jolie's Boutique Nostalgic sticker set of like the old vintage antique car. And so I thought that the colors and patterns kind of worked well together. So I just took the stickers and made a grid on my card base and then just put the stickers on top of it essentially, and then stamped happy birthday down here at the bottom in a dark brown. And I kind of made a nice masculine vintage style card and got 2 stickers sets out of my stash that I'm not really sure what else I would have used them on. And then on the inside I had 1 little sticker left on the sheet, so I just threw those goggles on the inside of my card. So this is something that I would like to incorporate more, just because it was a fun and quick project, kind of got my brain thinking in a different way and helped me use some of those embellishments that, you know, I've inherited or I bought because they were on clearance, but, you know, never really knew how I was going to use them. Kind of helps me use some of those up. And then use or decorate 1 upcycle item. I did 3 so far and hopefully can do the rest of them, but these say they are from 2015. So apparently in 2015, I found these little metal signs from Michael's, and they were on clearance after Easter. So they were regularly $1.99 and I paid 59 cents for them. And they say they're like chalkboard. So it's like metal with chalkboard finish on it. But I had a couple, I picked up a couple that were white, and then a couple of the scalloped ones that were colored, and then I have an egg-shaped one. So I decided to do some Easter or spring signs with these, and I did try painting on them, both with acrylic and chalk paint, but I think it's because of the chalk finish, the paint just kind of wiped right off. So I resorted to some vinyl, but I found this Welcome Spring file on my silhouette, and so I just cut it out of some white vinyl and put it on both of these signs. And I'm trying to decide if I want to turn them over and do like an Easter message on the back, and then you can have, you know, a reversible sign. I don't know. We have a craft show coming up literally the day before Easter, so I figured if I was going to use these, now would be a good time. So I've got a little bit of time to figure out if I want to put something on the back of those. This one, the egg, I think I'm just going to leave Easter, but this one is another silhouette image that I printed out, and it says, "Show me the bunny." I think that one's kind of cute. So those, like I said, have been in my stash since, what, 2015. Finally got those used up. And then my last goal is actually one that I just added at the end of March. And so I didn't really have time to do anything with it in March, but I'm hoping to start incorporating it into my goals for April. But it is to try one new thing. So this can be a new painting technique or a stamping technique or a different card fold. Like I've never done a Z-fold card. Or I could do a different type of scrapbook, you know, putting the pages together in a different way or using a different page layout that I haven't done before. So It doesn't have to be anything overly complicated. It could be anything, just anything that I haven't done before. And I find myself getting, not really in a rut, but I do the same types of things over and over again. And so I just wanted to kind of incorporate some new styles, techniques into my repertoire, I guess you could say, just to mix it up a little bit, give myself some more options. So hopefully in April I can start trying one new thing each month. And then something kind of related to using up my stash. This weekend I went through, I had a bag of scraps, and I store my scraps in 3 different ways depending on the project and the time that I have. So if I have time, I will refile them back into their folders in my drawers based on their pattern, theme, or color. If I have tons of scraps at one time from various projects, a lot of times those get stuck into a box I have under my desk waiting to be filed later, which we know very rarely happens. Or if it's something where I have a bunch of little pieces from one pattern, then I will tend to throw those into this bag that stays on one of my shelves above my desk so that I can see it and would hopefully remember to use it. Well, the bag was overflowing, so even though I see it, I obviously never thought to really use that until this weekend. So what I did is I sat down and I sorted all the scraps by pattern. So a lot of these are left from when I make corner bookmarks. When I cut them down and fold them up, I always have like a square and triangle piece left. Or if I have, a lot of times when I do the corner bookmarks, I also have strips left that I can use to make bookmarks with. So for example, this one I went through and pulled out, like there's a bunch of like 1.5 to 2 inch wide strips, and I just last night sat down and glued them all to a piece of chipboard that came off of a paper pad. And so once they're dry, or once they've dried, and I will go through and cut them down into like bookmark size. So usually it's anywhere from 1.5 to 2 inches wide by 5 to 6 inches tall. So I've got several sheets of these that I can cut down into bookmarks. And then I sorted, once I had them all sorted by pattern, I kind of went through and cut them down into different ways to get them ready to use on cards. So I have some kits going here, but one is just strips. So there's a couple different ways I can use the strips on cards. Some of them I kind of knew what I wanted to do with them already, and they were already cut to the size I wanted. I just needed to get the other pieces of the card together. So some of them I cut all the pieces down. They just need to be actually glued onto the card. Here's some other like larger size strips that I want to layer on a card front. Some smaller squares or triangles that I want to put together to make some little mini note cards. A whole bunch of circles in different sizes, along with some sketches on how I can use those circles on a card. And then these are different size squares that I can use like on a grid pattern on a card front. So trying to make it easy for me to use up some of these scraps. And this month in April, we've got a lot of travel, a lot of camping trips. At one point we're going on a trip for like a whole week. So normally when we camp for that long, we always at least have one rainy day where we're kind of stuck in the camper watching movies or whatever. Or if we've been going, a lot of times we take some downtime to kind of rest and regroup. And crafting is kind of my way of regrouping and rejuvenating myself, and my daughters love to craft too. So I figured if I had all these cut down and put together, I can just finish cutting down some card bases and maybe some other cardstock pieces to use as mats. And then if we have one of those times where we're sitting in the camper either resting or waiting out rain, the girls and I can sit down and craft and get some cards made and use up some of these scraps. So I think this is something that I'm going to try to do more often. It may not happen every month, but I have another whole bag of just wood grain pattern scraps, so that'll probably be the next project. So this wasn't necessarily on my goal list, but I feel like it's helping me work towards using up my stash, which is what most of my goals tend to center around. So Anyway, that's my progress from March. Like I said, April is going to be a little crazy with the different vacations, camping trips, Easter. We have a craft show in April as well. So we'll see how that plays out. I'm hoping I can incorporate some of these goals into like my pad kill that I'm working on, and maybe use some of these other ones towards projects for our craft show that's coming up as well. But I know a lot of you had goals that you were working on for 2019 as well. A lot of you were working on trying to use up your stash, and I'm so glad that you guys are all joining me on this journey to use up what we have. Hasn't stopped us from buying new things, but still, we're at least trying to use up what we have as we go. So I'd love to hear your progress on your goals. You can leave me that down in the comments below. Otherwise, I thank you guys for your time today. I hope you're getting some spring weather and can take a break from your goals, find a good balance of working on your crafty goals and enjoying some of that nicer weather. But hope you guys have a great rest of your week.